When you think about a software as a service provider, such as Amazon, Google, Microsoft, IBM, even Salesforce.com, one of the most common misconceptions is it's the SaaS provider's responsibility for protecting your customer data. This is not true. Their responsibility ends with maintaining a highly available platform for you as a customer to consume. The responsibility of providing an adequate data protection solution to protect your data is entirely up to you as the customer. This is precisely why Veeam developed our backup solution for Microsoft Office 365 environments, whether they're Exchange Online or hybrid, SharePoint, or OneDrive for Business. Take for an example a high-level executive at your company accidentally deleted an email or misplaced a calendar appointment. What about a more malicious attack where a disgruntled employee, before leaving the company, leaked vital intellectual property but purged their sent items folder? Or what about collaboration efforts? Let's say you have a SharePoint site backed by a OneDrive for Business folder, or perhaps even a Teams environment that's also leveraging OneDrive for Business, and a mobile user tries to sync that OneDrive for Business account with their mobile, accidentally deleting all the files. Let's take a look at how easy it would be to recover those items using Veeam.
Now that we're in the lab, let me give you a brief tour of exactly how easy the solution is to use. The first example we'll look at is an email deletion and restoration, whether it was an accidental deletion or maybe a misplaced item. To show you this, we'll open up the Outlook client. We will delete all the email in my inbox, as well as purge our deleted items folder. Now, to get the full effect, I'm going to dock the Outlook client on the left, and what we're going to do is actually launch the Explorer for Microsoft Exchange. Now we can do this by simply right-clicking on the org, and you're presented with two choices dealing with Exchange. You can use the latest point in time, or you can roll back to an earlier point in time. Now the point in time gives you the ability to meet that legal example we touched on earlier. So if you're requested to present emails that were originally received potentially years ago, then you can do this, locate that point in time, do a search query based on a specific sender or perhaps a certain topic or subject, gather up those emails and generate a PST export as a deliverable to provide to whoever made the request. Microsoft has a feature called litigation hold, but rather than turning that on organizational-wide, where all that long-term retention is now going to be stored on higher-priced cloud-based storage, why not enable Veeam to handle that long-term retention requirement and store that on storage you potentially already own or much lower-cost storage? Now, if we look at this example using the latest point in time, this will launch our Explorer for Microsoft Exchange. Now, if we dock this on the right, leave our Outlook client up on the left, and we drill down into my mailbox, down to my inbox, you'll see all the emails that we just deleted. Now you do have a search capability, again, if you're locating for a certain item with a key topic or subject, or you can do an advanced find where you can get much more specific with your search parameters. You also have the ability to do a live comparison against production. So if you're simply trying to highlight the missing items and restore only those, that would give you that functionality. Now in this case, we're going to restore the entire inbox since we did delete everything. So we simply right-click on that and hit restore. Now this is going to prompt me for authentication to make sure I am able to restore into my own inbox. So once we enter our credentials, which we do here, the restoration is going to start. Now a couple things while this is happening that's going to be important to remember. All the metadata associated in this case with the emails goes back as it originally was, which means if the email was received, let's say 3 weeks ago, it's not going to show up in the Outlook client like it was received yesterday or even today. It's going to go back with that same original date and timestamp. The other important thing is folder hierarchy. Let's say you've got an inbox with several folders, maybe even nested folders. The email that you're recovering, unless you state otherwise, will go right back to its original location in that folder tree from where the user originally had it saved. So if someone is missing something and you do a restoration, they're going to go right back to where they expect it to be, and they will then find it. Now, as you can see now, the restoration is concluding. You've got the emails coming back up in the Outlook inbox in this case, and once this finishes, the inbox will be exactly the way it was based on the last backup point that we used. And there you go. Just a very quick process, just a few quick minutes to show you exactly how to recover email. Now, let's look at another use case. Let's say that disgruntled employee that deleted Teams data that were stored on a OneDrive for Business folder connected to SharePoint. How would that look? So if we open up our OneDrive for Business folder, and let's just say for this quick example, we go under Payroll. And this particular employee, let's say, leaked the comp plan of what his replacement or what his predecessor should expect to get paid, as an example. So if we delete this right out of our OneDrive for Business folder, the process is very similar. You simply right-click on your organization, you go to OneDrive. In this case, we're using the latest backup state again, but you could still roll back to an earlier point in time if the situation called for it. And to show you the example, we're going to dock this on the right. We'll have our File Explorer on the left. And as we drill down into my OneDrive for Business folder, we go to Payroll, there's that document. Now, if I simply want to restore it in place, I can right-click and hit Restore Document. If it were to already be there, I then have the option to overwrite the original or maybe keep the original and simply add a prefix so it denotes which one was recovered. You could also copy it, you could save it, you could also send it as an outbound email attachment. But in this case, we're just going to restore it in place. Once again, it wants me to authenticate, and we do that, and you'll see the file get recovered very quickly and painlessly. So again, a few quick clicks, and you can go under a OneDrive for Business user account, locate documents, and send those right back in place.
Now that we know it's not Microsoft's responsibility to provide adequate data protection for your hypercritical data, and we've seen how easy that is to accomplish with the Veeam solution, make sure you head over to Veeam.com, download and install your copy of Backup for Microsoft Office 365 today so that you too can rest easy knowing that your data is fully covered. Thanks so much for watching the video and enjoy your day.